So when it comes to crested geckos, you guys are being lied to. Now let me preface, this is just my opinion. I know this is probably going to cause a little bit of controversy between others' opinions. And we're also going to try to keep this under 3 minutes. So let's get started real quick. We have our first very hot topic, and that's going to be your crested gecko's enclosure. And how big those enclosures actually need to be. Well, let me first say that crested geckos are arboreal. They don't become arboreal once they hit 30 grams. They don't become arboreal when they hit 10 grams. They are always arboreal, which means this is not an appropriate enclosure. If you have a fresh hatchling, this is perfect, okay? It'll be fine. It's got enough vertical space for a hatchling. When you get past the first few months, that crested gecko needs to go in a vertical enclosure. And I really feel like this isn't something that even needs to be discussed. And being a breeder is no excuse for putting your crested geckos in 8-quart bins. Second hot topic, of course, is going to be a water dish. You guys have probably heard me stress this in a lot of my videos, but crested geckos do drink from water dishes, and it benefits them to have fresh daily water. Now, they do drink off of leaves, sure. But especially during winter when it gets so dry and you're blasting heat in your house, it's just going to be very beneficial to them to have that fresh water provided to them daily. Well, yes, you might have to clean it every now and then. It's not that big of a deal. And then the last thing I want to talk about is geckos finding their food, because we keep getting told that if you give them an enclosure that's too big, they're not going to be able to find their food and they're going to starve to death. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is just simply not true. So are we really concerned that the crested gecko isn't going to find its food, or are we more concerned about making a sale because it's much easier to push an 8-quart bin that costs $5 on somebody as opposed to buying an enclosure that might cost $150? Now, of course, I'm not saying go put a baby in a 36 by 18 by 36. But putting a baby in an 18-inch vertical, or a juvenile in a 24-inch vertical, or a subadult in a 36-inch vertical, they're gonna find their food, they're gonna know where it's at, and they're gonna eat it. But I just can't quite understand why it's the norm to suspect that a crested gecko wouldn't find its food in a larger enclosure, because if they couldn't, then crested geckos would be extinct. I mean, if you think about it, they are born or hatched in the wild on a giant island, and crested geckos are not paternal, so they're not going to take care of their young, so they are really there fending for themselves. And if they couldn't find food in the wild, they just simply wouldn't survive. And if they can find food in the wild, then what makes us think that they can't find food that's literally being provided to them in an enclosure? It just doesn't make much sense. But in any case, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more, and we will catch you in the next one.